Hello.
Hello.
For a while now, a number of boroughs and housing associations have been using a choice-based letting scheme called Locata, which has completely changed the way in which their properties are allocated. And this programme has been made to help explain how the system works.
And later in the programme, I'll be showing you how to apply or bid for Locata properties using a number of different methods.
If you're a secure or assured tenant of one of these authorities or associations, then you're automatically a member of Locata and must use this system to find housing, as will anyone who joins the housing register within these boroughs. Locata is different to the old system because in the past the council decided where and when you'd be offered a home, but under Locata you have more choice. Under this scheme, you may also have the opportunity to move between participating boroughs without having to register with those boroughs individually. What's more, because of the way the system works, you'll no longer be offered unsuitable properties, and there's no penalty for declining a housing offer. This is how the scheme works. Every fortnight, Locata produces a free magazine called Locata Home, which advertises virtually all of the currently available council and housing association properties within the scheme. And instead of waiting for a home to be allocated, you can use the magazine to help you choose what property you'd like to apply or bid for. The magazine is clearly laid out by area, and each home is advertised with relevant information, such as the property's rent, whether or not it's available to people from other boroughs, what groups of people may bid for the home, and where available, local information about things such as schools and transport. Locata also publishes a comprehensive scheme user guide in many different languages to help you use the system. Locata Home is available at various places across the participating boroughs, including housing departments, social service offices, voluntary organisations and public libraries. And for a small fee, people can receive Locata Home in the post. So, how exactly do you apply for properties using the scheme? Richard.
OK, well, people can apply for a maximum of 3 properties in each edition of Locata Home. And there are several ways to do this. I'll tell you about each way in more detail a bit later. But the main ways of bidding are by filling out one of the Locata bidding coupons supplied when you join the scheme, by the automated telephone bidding system, by text messages from a mobile phone, or online via the Locata website.
Locata is designed to be a fairer and more transparent system of housing allocation than the way things used to be, and bids are considered individually in relation to each property and which priority band the member belongs to, which will be determined by their personal circumstances. There are 4 main bands into which you can be placed, and these bands take into consideration a number of factors. Specific details of the categories can be obtained from your relevant housing department or association, but here's a summary of the system. People in Band A will have top priority, and this band will usually include people whose need for housing is an emergency. For instance, there may be people who have a life-threatening medical condition which is affected by their current housing, or they may be homeless or have some other serious circumstances where rehousing is a matter of utmost importance. Band B will include people whose circumstances might indicate an urgent need for rehousing, but are not considered as an absolute emergency. People within this band might be experiencing harassment or threats of violence, or may have been approved by their current landlord for urgent rehousing due to medical or other social reasons. People in Band B might also be in a property which is due to be demolished, or might have dependent children with whom they're currently sharing a bedroom. Band C is for people who, although they have an identified housing need, do not fall into the same level of urgency as those in categories A or B. Their circumstances might indicate a need for rehousing due to overcrowding or unsanitary conditions, or as part of an agreed social services care plan to relieve social hardship. A Band C member might also be an elderly person moving to sheltered housing, or someone who has a less serious medical condition. Band D includes all other transfer tenants and home seekers whose housing needs are not considered as urgent as those in Bands A, B or C. Unlike the old system, you'll be told which of the bands you're in, and priority within each band will depend on how long you've been waiting on the system to be housed. Everyone who wishes to be rehoused must use Locata, but they're fully trained housing staff, social workers and voluntary agencies who can offer help in using the scheme to vulnerable people, people with disabilities or reading difficulties, or to those who might not have English as a first language. There's also a medical self-assessment system in place to help your borough or housing association identify and give help to people who may have medical, mental health or mobility problems. And there's help available for people who need to move to sheltered housing. Whatever your individual circumstances, it's very important to keep the participating council or housing association informed of any changes, as this could affect what band you're in or your eligibility for certain homes. Richard.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, there are several ways in which you can bid for properties using Locata. You can fill out a coupon, you can text your bids, you can use the phone or bid using the internet. Now, the coupon method is very easy. Each coupon has the person's name and their special Locata identification number or LIN printed on it. Now, it's important to check that these details are correct when you receive your coupon so that your bids can be registered by Locata. As we said earlier, people can bid for a maximum of 3 properties per edition of Locata. So there are 3 bidding sections on the coupon, 1 for each of the bids. Now, you don't have to fill in all 3 bids if you don't want to, but you might have a second or third choice of property you like. And of course, the more bids you submit, the more chance you have of being successful. Now, every property advertised in Locata Home has a 3-digit reference number with it. And all you have to do is identify the number of the property by putting 3 crosses in sequence in the number squares on the bidding coupon. For instance, if the property you want to bid for has the reference number 456, then you need to put your first cross in the box in row 4 of the first column, a cross in the box in row 5 of the next column, and one in the row 6 box in the last column. Fill in the other 2 sections in the same way if you have other choices. Put a stamp on the self-addressed coupon and pop it in the post to Locata. It's as simple as that. Now, you'll be given a supply of coupons when you join the scheme, but if you run out, you can order more by telephone using the simple automated ordering system. Now, the telephone is another way of bidding for properties using Locata and also uses a simple automated system, but you will need to have your Locata identification number to hand and enter your date of birth as a security measure before using the service. Another very easy way to bid is by texting your bids from a mobile phone. Now, this is how you do it. To begin making your bid, you need to open a new text message, then enter your Locata identification number. Now, it doesn't matter whether the letters are small or capitals because the system recognizes both, so don't worry about that. And then follow the number with the hash symbol. Then enter the advert reference number for your first bid. So just as with the coupon, we'll enter 456. Followed again by the hash mark. Now, if you only want to bid for one property, you can send the text straight away. But if you want to add more bids, then simply enter the advert reference number for the second bid, followed again by the hash symbol. Then send if you've finished your bidding, or enter the reference number for the third property, followed by the hash symbol, then send. The telephone number to send your message to will be displayed at the end of this video. Again, a very easy way to bid for properties using Locata. Now, one of the most popular ways that people have been using to bid for properties is online, over the internet. So if you have internet access, perhaps at your local library, for instance, then you can submit your bids via the Locata website. First, you'll need to open your web browser and go to www.locata.org. When the home page appears, click on the link for login. This will take you to the login page. Now, you'll notice here that there is a drop-down list of abbreviations and some spaces to type next to it. All you have to do is select the appropriate abbreviation for your borough. In this case, it will be for Ealing, so we'll select EAL. Then we need to type in the number part of our Locata identification number next to it. Then you'll need to enter your date of birth in the space provided, for example, the 31st of January 1971. When you hit login, it'll take you to the members page where you can search for properties and download the free sheet. To make your bid, you need to click on the link for the bidding page, and when this loads up, enter the 3-digit property reference number, or numbers if you're bidding for more than one property, in the spaces provided. So for instance, my first choice is number 428, so that goes in there. My second is number 387, and my third is number 621. Click on Submit, and that's it. Your bid has been made.
Another way that Locata is different to the old system is that you can get feedback, which means that you can actually see how the system is working. You can do this in 2 ways. You can get feedback on your individual bids by logging on to the Locata website, which keeps a record of your bidding history for you to look at. The other way to get feedback from Locata is in the feedback section of Locata Home. Now, this is a different type of feedback, because this section lists all the properties which have been recently let within the scheme, and you can see exactly how many people have bid for each property, and the priority band and registration date of the successful bidder. This information can be very useful in giving you a better idea of how long you might expect to wait for the type of property you're bidding for, by seeing how long a successful bidder has waited and the band they're in, and also what type of property you might be more successful in bidding for if you need to move more quickly. Now, just to recap, here are the 5 steps to choosing a new home using Locata. Step 1. To be a member of Locata, you might be an existing tenant waiting to transfer. You might be currently homeless. You could be renting from a private sector landlord or an owner-occupier living with family or friends. Step 2. You need to register for Locata with the local council or housing association. Unless you're an existing tenant, in which case your local council or housing association will confirm your registration and band in writing. Step 3. And this is what makes Locata different. Choice. As we said earlier, you can pick up Locata Home from many local places and bid using your preferred method of either coupon, telephone, text or internet. Step 4. If your bid is successful, your local council or housing association will contact you and arrange for you to see the property. And if you like it, you can move in as soon as it's fully ready for occupancy. Step 5. If your bid is unsuccessful, you can check the feedback section of the next edition of Locata Home, which you might find useful when making further bids. Although Locata is different and designed to give you more choice and information, there's still a shortage of homes, so the scheme won't solve everybody's housing problems, and most members will still probably have to wait some time for rehousing in the local areas. But in order to give people more options, Locata will be advertising properties in areas where housing is in less demand.
Yes, and with the possible introduction of shared ownership homes to the scheme, as well as some private rented properties, we hope to expand the service to give you even more choice and possibility for finding the home you want in the area you want.
Thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.